Hello. Welcome, everybody.
Hmm.
I am so excited. We're so excited that you're here. I'm Robin Jones, and I have
Ah,
Natalie with me. And you're hearing my voice 3 octaves lower and coming and going, but we're here and we're excited. And we just couldn't be happier than we are today to be with you. This has been a long time coming for us. And man, if there isn't more confirmation to me that this is valuable information you're supposed to be having just from the sheer opposition we have been feeling to get this out there. So we are so ready to share some incredible content with you. And I love how people are already putting where you're from. We've got
yeah.
uh,
Where are you joining us from? We've
Germany,
loved seeing this.
Arkansas, Virginia, Bulgaria,
Hmm.
Austria, New Orleans, Washington, Canada, California, the UK. Holy moly. Ireland. I can't read it fast enough. Romania,
Oh,
Switzerland, Thailand. Holy moly. Wow.
all over the world. That's the brilliance of an incredible community of like-minded people. And we are coming together today to take things next level. We're so excited for where we're going to go this week on our journey together, and all that you will discover about yourself and how you can bless those around you as well.
Yes. So we want to start off today um, with uh, with kind of laying down the lay of the land a little bit for you. So, um, actually, sorry, 1 second. Here we go. Okay. You know that you guys can see that okay? Great. All right. So we just want to make sure that you get the most out of this challenge this week. So in order to maximize this challenge experience, we want you to show up on time. And you guys did that. Like, congrats. And we have some giveaways for those of you who are here on time. If you're able to, watch from a computer. We have some incredible content that's going to be on slides for you. And so, in order to see some of those things, a computer is just going to make that a little bit easier for you. We want you to engage, and we loved seeing you do that already. So if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have breakthroughs, we want to hear those. We want to hear from you. And especially those questions, we've got some support team helping us to make sure that we are answering those questions. If you want to just make sure to in all caps, write question, hashtag question, just so we can see those at a glance where you have those questions that will help us be able to see those better. And then this is a challenge. So we want to make sure that you're completing the daily homework that we have for you. And when I say homework, I know that has like such a negative connotation for a lot of us, but it's just that you do work to integrate the information that you're getting, because this wouldn't be a challenge without that. And you get to win prizes every single time you do your homework. You are guaranteed a prize. And if you do all 4 days leading up to the 5th day of all the homework, you'll be entered to win the grand prize, which you are going to love. So let's get into our on time giveaway. And we have, if you are one of the winners, which I'll kind of explain how this goes. So every day we're going to have an on time giveaway because we honor those of you who are here, showing up, ready to get that info. So we are doing on time giveaways. And then if you stay with us to the end of the day and to the end of the training, we are doing another giveaway. So when you are chosen, we'll capture your name, but in order for you to redeem your prize, you just need to email us at challenge@essentialemotions.com. to make sure that we get that to you. So
Yeah. We're so excited for our giveaways today because many of you, maybe you're already familiar with the app, but it's so powerful and you can use it anytime, anywhere. I've been using this in our travels around the world. And whether you're looking up an emotion and finding the best oils for that, or learning more about an oil and what it has to offer you emotionally, or connecting something that's happening in your body and figuring out the emotional root to that so you can address that. This app is an incredible tool for you. So we're super excited to give away an app and a book today. The book has everything the app has and more. So you'll get the full descriptions of the oils in the book and just easy reference. I love using this at home and having it right there next to my oils so we can experience all the power and invite in that emotional breakthrough on the regular. So we want to give this giveaway away. I know, let's see, we are going to give away 5 of these right now. And we're going to give it away to the first answers in the chat. So our question is, who are you here for today? Who are you here for today? Way to roll.
E, which I love.
Way to claim it. I love it. Okay, we're going to take those first 5 and we'll have those first 5 entries that came through. And you can email challenge@essentialemotions.com for that giveaway. We'll also do a giveaway at the very end, so stick with us. Let's roll.
Perfect. So we are capturing who those first
Yeah, we've
5
got
were.
help, and they will post that as well if that's
Yeah.
a little bit easier. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. All right. So, like I mentioned, we are going to be bringing it this week to you and bringing you lots and lots of super juicy content. And hopefully, you're also getting dialed in and you're in a space that you can set this time aside to receive your own inspiration. But the true transformation really only comes when you apply what you've learned and receive each day this week. So that's why we decided to do a challenge. That's why we wanted to move you towards those transformation and breakthroughs. And we know that it's all of these things combined. So who is ready? Put in the chat if you are ready to go. You are ready to get some breakthroughs this week.
Awesome. Robin, advance it so we see that next one. You're great.
Okay, not go through.
There we go.
Okay.
That's what we're going for, is transformation. You all in?
Okay, beautiful. All right. Natalie, take it away.
So we asked you a little bit, who are you here for? And we also want to talk about why you're here today. Why are you here in this moment? And I want you to just drop into your heart and tap into that so that you can be completely present. I love that you have carved out the time to be right here, right now, and give yourself this gift of emotional freedom and pass that gift on to other people. We live in a day where this is so needed. And what an incredible thing for you to be clear and to show up right here. As you get clear about your intention, you will create it during our time together. So we're going to show up 100% and bring our very best, and your intention is going to take care of the rest. And we are here we're adding in to so many of your answers. I love this. I feel emotional just seeing it and taking it in. We are here to bring healing and wholeness to the world through this emotional breakthrough movement. And we're so grateful for this challenge to turn that up and turn up the momentum in that process. And we're going to be here. We're going to learn together this week. We're going to become, but we're so excited for the amazing content that's coming to you through this process.
Mm.
Can we tell you a little bit more about our stories? Amanda is not her best today. She's not feeling well, but she has an incredible video that we want to share about her journey. And so that you can experience her for yourself. She'll be joining us later this week.
And I'm Amanda Porter, and my passion for this work was born of necessity. My childhood through young adult life was rife with trauma and abuse of every kind. So it was necessary for me to be able to heal so that I could shift those generational patterns and emotional patterns that weren't working and that I desperately didn't want to pass on to the next generation. It became my whole life's work to not only learn how to do this for myself, but then to help others. After I left my professional career and I dedicated my life to helping others full time, the essential oils came in and they up-leveled the whole process. And as you know, this eventually led me to writing the oil descriptions in the Essential Emotions book and developing this movement and getting to share this with all of you. And I've never looked back because this is where I know I'm to be.
It's amazing what's brought us all here together, and you have joined a worldwide healing movement. This emotional breakthrough process is spreading across the globe in a more accessible than ever, step-by-step way. It's never been done before like this. We are finding that the sharing of this process is only multiplying the momentum of the breakthrough happening for families, parents, coaches, professionals, teachers, and leaders around the world. We know that the more coaches that engage and act as witness to this work, the more hearts can be reached. As an Essential Emotions coach.
So that's a little bit of Amanda's story and a little bit of our vision of what's happening around the world. And my story, I think we all have a story and all have a journey that brings us here to this moment. And mine was my mom passing away when I was 19. My mom was my very best friend. She was my go-to. And she was great. She was present. And then in a couple of weeks, she was gone. And I didn't know how to navigate the grief that set in. I tried to push past it, right? Just push through it, keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I did that for about 9 years, thinking it's going to be better when I get married. It's going to be better when I have children. And then when I had my first son and it wasn't better, I thought I need to have multiple children and then it will get better. But when I had my second son and that grief and that hole in my heart was still there, I just dipped and I didn't come back up. And I didn't know how to get out of that hole that I was in. And so through that journey of needing that healing and wholeness for myself, I was eventually introduced to a woman that used music, massage, and essential oils. And that 1 hour with her, I experienced more healing than in the 9 years previous. And when I did that, I thought, whatever this is, I don't know where this healing is coming from, but whatever it is, I need it. I want more of it. And I began to use the oils and explore these other processes. And I found that it really was the oils that brought that healing to me. And so on that journey, I discovered that that healing could be unlocked for others. And so as I became more whole and more free emotionally, I could pass that on. I became a holistic health coach. I did all kinds of emotional release courses to up-level my experience and training, and been practicing for, wow, it's crazy how quickly it goes. So it's been almost a couple of decades now of doing this work in my own life and practicing with others in this process. I'm so grateful now to have this simple process that we're going to learn about together so that you can up-level your healing as well. Robin.
Beautiful. Yeah, like Natalie, my love for this work came from my own needs. So, in with my family history on my mother's side and on my father's side, um, is riddled with depression and low mood. And when I say depression, I mean bedridden depression. So, um, my my great grandmother was in bed for like over 10 years, and there was no diagnosis then of what postpartum was. There was nothing of that sort. And then it with my own mother, the first 5 years of my life after she had me, she was in bed for 5 years. So for the first 5 years of my life, that's where I camped out in my mom's bed. And I thought that was completely normal and amazing that I got to just nuzzle up and be nurtured by her in the only way that she could in that way. And but it was on both sides of my family. When I was 8, my aunt, my father's sister, took her life, and she left behind a 4-year-old son who my parents took in and raised. And so my little brother is my biological cousin. And then when I was pregnant with my very first child, my sister took her life, and she had 5 children. And typically, again, postpartum was kind of that catalyst, that little trigger in our family's DNA, and she never quite could get out from under that. And so she tried everything. And the medications that she was on really just took her even further down and took a lot of her creativity away. And it was a painful experience to be observing somebody going through that. But especially when she took her life, that was a whole new level for me of grief, of anger, of frustration, of not understanding how someone could get to that level and feel like there was no better option than to leave this planet. Especially knowing what a devoted mother she was. So that was sort of, I'm pregnant with my first baby, and I'm just thinking, holy cow, this is a death sentence in my family, and I'm next. And I knew I was carrying a daughter. And I remember being at my sister's graveside, and I remember having my very first mama bear moment. And that mama bear moment looked something like this. And sorry for the swearing, but it was hell no. I'm not going to do this. This chain stops with me. I'm breaking this family chain, and I'm not continuing this on. And I don't know how that looks, but I felt that God did not that he did put things on this earth that could help people with this. And from then on, my mission began to find better options. That's all that I was looking for, was to find better options around mental health, because from what I could see, there weren't a lot yet. And that brought me into the world of essential oils, and quickly realized in a lot of the research that I did in the mind-body connection, I have just yet to find something as quick and effective and powerful as essential oils and aromatherapy for this. So I am really excited to join forces with one of my favorite people, Natalie, to speak with you today more about this, and especially the rest of this week, so you guys can see a lot of the research that we've done and what we have found. And we're not leaving anything on the table. We are going to put it all out there for you this week. So in that regard,
we have come together for the same cause and mission, everything that's Robin's talking about, to empower people all over the world to release the negative feelings and emotions, any heaviness, and let them, these emotions, be guides to us, be messengers, that we can learn how to give ourselves permission to feel all of it and to even love what is, all of it. So we can release the anchors and the behaviors that are keeping us from our full potential, any kind of limitation. So we're going for this wholeness so we can feel the full range of human emotion and experience it and know that it's all there as a guide for us to get to that freedom that we really desire.
yeah. We are, in order to we just need to talk a little bit about the state of the world in which we live right now. And, globally, we are seeing, these are really the latest stats that we're seeing, is that suicide is the 4th leading cause of death between ages 15 to 29. There are 284 million people who suffer from some type of an anxiety disorder. And substance abuse, which is really just, self-medicating, right? Is responsible for 11.8 million deaths annually. So that's 1 in 5 are dying globally from substance use. Here in the United States, which feels like the minority in this group, quite honestly, but here in the United States, we have the highest global death rate from mental health issues and drug abuse, highest global death rate. And we have over 19 million American adults that have claimed a substance abuse disorder in 2022. And among our youth, among our adolescents ages 13 to 18, almost 50% have a mental disorder. This is not okay. This is why we're here. This is why I'm certainly here, because I will not rest. This is my life mission, and I know that we are onto something with this. We have seen the results, and we want to bring about more of that. So as Natalie shared, that more of that intention we have with them this week.
Mhm. We are here to show how accessible and doable emotional regulation can be. This is our intention. This will be met this week together. Also, we're going to give you the science and the credibility of aromatherapy so that you can draw on that to be able to bring this forward for yourself and those you love. And then we're going to learn together a proven emotional system, the tools that you need to use that system, and the process itself, so that you are empowered with real solutions, really the best of the best of all we've experienced, we're bringing forward.
And I want to hear from you guys, like based on the stats that I shared and maybe from Natalie and my story, how many of you can relate? I mean, I've been watching the chat and I know that, but like, how many of you have someone you love or yourself that is really, really struggling right now? And maybe you have tried so many things, and maybe you have even tried oils and you just haven't seen the results but you know that it's possible. Beautiful. Okay. Yes. So many. What I find is mental disorders, depression, it is not a single person issue. it affects all loved ones. It affects all family members around that. So as we have so much for you, especially today, but in this week, and we really each day, whether you're watching with us live or you're watching this as a recording, every day builds on each other. So if you are watching these recordings, I would recommend watching them in order just because it does, like I said, build on it. And so today we wanted to cast this vision, but we also need to set a little bit of this foundation just so you understand the value in this breakthrough process that we're going to be sharing with you and understand the science that is with that. So I'm going to start with our emotions, which is why we're all here. These and just some of the differentiations between what we know about our emotions. So we know through science, through the latest research, that emotions are actually information carrying molecules. And they are chemical responses. So it's out of our control. There's chemical reactions that occur to internal or external stimuli. And so biologically speaking, emotions are physical and instinctive. Again, we don't have a lot of control over emotions that we're experiencing. And those emotions prompt physiological reactions to threat, to reward, everything in between there, and between those neurotransmitters that are so important for hormone release and things by the brain. And just so you know, we have 400 billion reactions happening per second. So we can, especially as females, we know we can experience different levels and sensations of emotions on all the time. And every emotion carries a certain frequency and vibration within the body. I don't know if many of you follow David Hawkins' work, but he has really done a lot of pioneering and groundbreaking work, really measuring that there are different frequencies and measuring those frequencies within the bodies based on a lot of those emotions. And so, for example, as you're seeing here, shame is the lowest emotion, the lowest frequency that we have in the body is feeling shame. While feeling gratitude is one of the highest. Gratitude is up towards the top there. So our emotions are our teachers. All emotions are normal. All emotions are universal. And each negative emotion is simply presenting itself as a message and the gateway to your healing. These are all messengers to us. And so this is why not attaching a judgment or naming an emotion as bad or wrong is so important, because someone could, many times anger, for example, is considered to be a negative emotion or a bad emotion. But as you can see here on this slide, anger is better than feeling shame, right? It's a jump to go from shame to anger. So when we are feeling shame and you see someone that's acting out in anger, that could actually be a jump in their level of consciousness and an elevation to their frequency. So when we are talking now about feelings, emotions and feelings are often used interchangeably, right? Like I'm feeling this and I'm experiencing this emotion. They're kind of used interchangeably. But feelings are actually a little bit different. Feelings are the conscious experience from those emotional reactions. So our feelings are sparked by those emotions, and they're shaped by the personal experiences and the beliefs and the memories and the thoughts that are linked to that emotion or experiencing that emotion. So feelings are measured purely through our perception And they're conveyed by our ability to recognize and communicate those sensations that we're feeling. So physiologically, they have found that more communication wiring is going from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart. I'm going to repeat that because that's important. And I want you to think about that. Why would there be more wiring going from your heart to your brain than from your brain to your heart? So we know that our heart does a lot more processing than we have previously given it credit for. Not everything around our emotions is in our brain and is in our mind. It is through our whole body, as you're going to find more out. So that leads us to our thoughts. Thoughts are just a constant flow in our minds. Your perceptions, remember, which are your feelings. So your perceptions and the chemicals, which are the emotions and those chemical reactions, those interact with the thoughts that you're having. And you have an average of 70,000 thoughts per day. 70,000. And many of those thoughts are highways of thought patterns that just get ingrained into beliefs. When you have a thought long enough and you nurture that thought long enough, that is now becoming a belief for you. It's not even conscious. This can happen from a reoccurring in that thought track and thought pattern. So this then gets us to this mind-body connection. Each area of the body is storing those emotions, it's storing those beliefs, and that emotional debris, that emotional energy, that is all manifesting in the body in forms of physical sensations and symptoms. So this means that there is almost always an emotional root to a physical issue. I'm going to repeat that. There is almost always an emotional root to a physical issue. In fact, 80% of your doctor visits today are stress related. Everything is connected. And I love this old Indian proverb here that says the body sheds the tears the eyes refuse to shed. Our body is sending us loving, and sometimes it comes as a whisper, and sometimes it comes as a 2x4, and sometimes as a Mack truck. It sends those signals asking us to look within. And I know this to be true when I start getting a headache from overthinking and feeling overwhelmed, or when my child gets a stomach ache, when there's a test coming up. In fact, did you know that in the lining of your gut, that it produces 90% of all feel-good neurotransmitters, those feel-good like serotonin, and that is all produced in the lining of your gut. So of course it makes sense that your body is going to signal to you when something is off.
So here is where essential oils come in. After using many different lines of essential oils for our own personal and clinical use, we really feel a stewardship to present the best option that we've found to you. Our research and experiential evidence around aromatherapy and the limbic system led us to a standout essential oil brand whose main efforts were geared toward research, quality, testing, transparency, and integrity in how and where they source their oils. Now, we realize that for many, what essential oil brand you use is like your religion, or maybe you're like a lot of people that just dabble here and there. They've collected oils from different places and different brands, and maybe they're collecting dust even on your shelves. We are here to tell you which option we chose and why, and just build awareness for the options that are available there. So please take what we share and apply it however it serves you best. So let's talk about plant quality and sourcing. For many of you, this might be a repeat, but this is essential in our foundation, because when we have the highest quality plants grown from wherever they grow best around the world, we have access to unlimited healing power, really. Accessing that from these incredible plants without middleman and connecting to those growers helps us avoid contamination, adulteration, and everything else that can happen through this process. Like we were talking about opposition, even for this call, there is opposition to bring this pure plant power to us. And we're so grateful that doTERRA has done the work to source and eliminate a lot of these parts that can really be obstructive and get in the way of that purpose. So doTERRA is sourcing oils from all over the world. As you can see from this map, like almost no part of the world is untouched, and we've gone to find where these plants are growing naturally so that we can get the very best from that plant. So whether it's the green areas highlighted here, where we have an environmental stewardship and we're helping the environment return to a more balanced state by harvesting these plants and bringing them forward to us, or all the purple, where you'll see that we have poverty solutions and stewardship. These purple areas is where we can do incredible good, because by paying those growers fairly, we can bring real income to areas and help people actualize more and use their gifts so that they can be healthier and better and out of that poverty cycle. It's such an incredible gift, right? So all of the things that are important to bring these incredible oils to us are taken into account. The climate, the soil, the ecosystem, all of that is coming together. So as you look at this map, know that 99% of these oils are proprietary, meaning heavily vetted and carefully selected sources that only partner with doTERRA. And I love that we have access to these plants. I remember realizing for myself what this meant to have access to these plants at my fingertips, and how maybe my grandmother had access to a few plants out her back door. But now I lived in a day where, even though the challenges of my world and my family have grown and are big, that the supports have grown right alongside it. And these supports from all over the world can be at my fingertips so that we can experience this healing and draw on this healing power. So, you guys, there's so much more on this, and tomorrow we'll hear from Dr. Nicole Stevens, and she'll tell us more about epigenetics and all that is real and coming here forward in the research at this time. And she's going to teach us about how you can leverage these plants in safe and powerful ways for your emotions and beyond. All these safety procedures are in place to guard against any impurities, because we want that pure plant power. And anything of contamination, adulteration, or synthetic fillers, that keeps that healing from us, right? And we can know that we have this safety and purity through this certified pure tested grade process. right? So that we can truly access the lifeblood of the plant and know that we're giving ourselves, our family, those that we're serving and caring for, the very, very best of potent and pure plant power. So I love how, doTERRA has done it in incredible ways. So those darker bottles giving us the best options for long-term storage and giving us the best power from those oils for the longest time. So efficacy is everything. And because we have that foundation of getting the oils where they're grown best, then we also have the power, right? We have highly concentrated plant power. It's so potent, so that 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. Just imagine that. This is so perfect in our world today where we want more powerful. At this time, we have the essential oils coming forward and delivering what we need in our day. So I love how the oils work with our body at the cellular level. And I love how that interacts with the emotions. And because our emotions are chemically based, they are sending little chemical messengers to our cells. They communicate in our body that way. And then the essential oils operate as well with our bodies. They are sending, when you hear chemical, you think, oh, a natural. No, there are chemical messaging that's going out naturally within the body. And this allows essential oils to work with the body's biochemistry and communicate freely so they can do all that they're meant to do. So the essential oils are super molecularly dense. So 1 drop of an essential oil has over 40 million trillion molecules. These tiny molecules are able to service every cell of the body within minutes. And the reason why each oil has so many uses and applications is because essential oils are so chemically complex. Just think about frankincense, right? 2,000 different chemical constituents, over 2,000, right? And all of that chemical complexity allows for more strength and power for us. These oils invite connection in the body and enhance the cellular functioning by binding to those receptor sites and impacting what's happening inside the cells. And of course, that ripples out to impact the entire body. So incredibly intelligent process, living volatile compounds that have an adaptogenic capacity to promote detox, take out the bad, and keep the good and help that good proliferate, right? Keep growing, keep healing. So this isn't only true for the physical toxins, it's true for the emotional toxins as well. So these essential oils act as a catalyst to help the body heal itself. Isn't it powerful when we can go to the root of the issue and have that catalyst come in and give the body what it needs so the body can heal itself? And it has been said that essential oils soften and open the body in order to reach the soul. And that's what we're talking about here. Now, that's just a little bit of the science foundation for you. But know that with all of that power, there is affordability as well. We are dealing with so many needs around the world. And as we've seen just lately, that healthcare is not meeting those needs. In so many ways, we've seen the downfall of global healthcare. And at the same time, healthcare costs, traditional healthcare costs, are skyrocketing. And people are looking for real solutions that address the core root issue and are accessible for people in our day. So I love how we can live when we have access to this pure plant power, because we can live without as much fear, doubt, and worry, and we can live putting our time, energy, and money into those things that we really value instead of spending thousands on copay and all the time and energy that goes into sick care, right? So powerful that we can create our own reality, right? Create our own environment where we can live in a place of wellness on physical levels and emotional levels. So with this foundation, we go ahead, Robin, and then I'll intro Danielle.
Yeah, so like I said, we're giving some of this just foundation. We're gonna really deep dive into a lot of these pieces that we've been talking about. But of course, we have to talk about our olfactory system because aromatherapy could not be aromatherapy without our sense of smell. Smell is the fastest way to affect mood, the fastest way. And inhaling an essential oil can connect you deeper into your body. Those aromatic molecules have a direct route through that olfactory system to the limbic center of your brain, which is the emotional center, and where all of your memories and emotional memories are stored. So we've been hearing about chemical reactions, and that's exactly what happens when you smell an odor molecule. A chemical reaction can occur within literal seconds. So the amygdala, which you're going to hear, I'm sure, from Dr. Danielle Daniel, along with some other structures in the brain, um, this is what makes immediate decisions that are going to have cascading effects throughout your entire body. And what I find this is why the breakthrough process that we're doing, these three things, if you don't take anything away from today, it would be these that essential oils do so well. They interrupt old emotional response patterns. They create new neural pathways. And they also act as those aromatic anchors or scent memories for very quick somatic recall. So all of this to say that an emotion is a thought leading to a sensation, and many times those beliefs. So for example, if you inhale bergamot and its aroma signals to your brain to release dopamine and serotonin, which are happiness and feel-good neurotransmitters, those are going to lift your mood and reduce stress and anxiety. But these neurochemicals also send messages through the central nervous system to release muscle tension, to decrease pain sensation, to regulate your heartbeat, and increase overall well-being. So psychologist Dr. Danielle Daniel will speak to us about her own work and research around how powerful these chemical reactions occur with the body within the use of really good quality aromatherapy. And remember that you not only have smell receptors in your nose, this is not the only smell receptor. You and in your brain, that's not the only smell receptor. You actually have smell receptors on every organ in your body. And guess which organ, and I want you to put it in the chat, guess which organ has the most smell receptors? Skin, gut, heart, liver, heart, stomach, gut. Yep. So it's the heart. It's the heart. So if you're wanting to access and engage your heart, go smell something, and preferably an oil. Because essential oils, like Natalie said, they really do help us reach the deepest levels of the body and our emotions and our psyche. They also prepare that internal terrain and locate unresolved issues that are ready to be processed. If you are experiencing emotions you haven't experienced, or if you're experiencing emotions that you're like, I thought I worked through this, congratulations, you're at a new place and a new level to go even deeper. And that is what the oils do, is they are able to go deeper. And we have yet to find a more powerful agent that helps to facilitate and enhance emotional work and also calms the nervous system as quickly as essential oils. each oil has very specific plant medicine for your body, your heart, and your soul. And every emotion that we talked about that carries a frequency also holds that. Our essential oils also hold frequency and vibration as well. So as we are using essential oils, it's one of the reasons why our vibration can raise so quickly, why our mood, those shifts in our consciousness can really, those breakthroughs can happen, because just by simply smelling or applying an essential oil can raise you up that frequency scale.
So now let's go to even get a little more meat on the subject from Dr. Danielle Daniel. And we're so honored that she's with us here today. Just a little bit about Danielle is she earned her doctorate in clinical psychology from California Southern University. She also completed a master's of social work degree from San Diego State and is a licensed clinical social worker. Her studies and clinical work have focused on trauma, suicidal ideation, and crisis intervention. She has worked mostly with high-risk populations among adolescents and active or retired military. She's a leading pioneer in the field of alternative and complementary medicine, integrating emotional aromatherapy as a valuable intervention for mental health. Danielle, so grateful that you're here with us today. Thank you for joining the conversation and bringing your insights, right? I see in the chat you got a lot of love.
Hello. Yes, welcome, everybody. I'm happy to be on here with you.
Thanks for joining us. I know it's early in Hawaii, but what has come up for you as we've been in this conversation, and what would you add?
Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't expecting, the questions here. So I'm trying to think what coming up for me. I want to go back to, I guess, bergamot, what Robin, hi, Robin, what she was talking about. It's definitely one of my favorite essential oils. And not just because it smells amazing, but because of the chemistry within it. So if for those of you who don't know, I did my doctoral dissertation on PTSD and aromatherapy. And so I looked at the chemistry. I did one of the largest literature reviews of essential oil chemistry compared to brain chemistry. And so when I look at that, and I'll just kind of go into trauma and PTSD in general, which we know with military vet and people with trauma, suicide rates are very high. And it's about 18 suicides a day for military. So it's huge. So this is something we really want to address. So when we look at PTSD, sorry, I'm going to talk very clinical. That's my background is so different. And so it's just, the clinical side of it. I hope that's okay.
You do
Perfect.
you. It's
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So when we look at PTSD, there's a lot of symptoms, right? And so it's not just like one pill for one ill type of a, response, even in the medicine world. There's so many symptoms, right? Multifaceted, that I had to narrow down from all the essential oils, which one could do the most, benefits or have the most benefits. And bergamot was it, you guys, from the chemistry. Bergamot was it. It was amazing. And one of the reasons I'll tell you, and we kind of talked about this, is because the HPA axis, right? That is your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal gland in the body that create a cycle of stress. And kind of like how Robin was talking earlier, how emotions are in your entire body. And you think about like stress, it goes from your kidneys all the way to your brain and then through your whole central nervous system, right? And bergamot, there were studies that showed that bergamot helped deactivate or calibrate the HPA axis. And so when we see trauma, when we see PTSD, it's not just all these symptoms. What's really the core in trauma and PTSD is an overactive, a dysregulated HPA axis. So then I read about bergamot regulating it. I mean, it's phenomenal. And the results we received with our military and our first responders was huge. It was amazing. they had results not only with lowering their stress, but improving their focus, improving their sleep. And it was just an awesome, and I'll put in the, let me see. Oh no, I have it right here. If we want to put it in the chat, I know there's a lot of chat going on. So let me, there's the link to the published research article in a journal. So you guys can go ahead and dive more into that as well. But I'm going to let Natalie, I'll let you ask some of the questions. I know we have a lot going on here.
No, I love it. This is perfect. And what we want to hear from you, Danielle, because your discoveries on this journey just unlock things for us. So I want you to highlight whatever you feel like we should know as we dive in.
Okay. So I put the link in there. I know there's, you can keep it if you want, Natalie. There, it's right there again. So, yeah, there you go. You got it already.
And
okay.
You're good. That link will come out to each of you.
Okay.
This is our prize for today, is seeing some of Dr. Danielle Daniels' work. So as you complete the form today, you'll be emailed that link and the PDF.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So did you want me to keep going, or did you have questions? I didn't know if you had questions.
You're great.
Okay.
I'll keep
So
scanning the chat.
Let me tell you about the protocols. I think that's the most important part that you guys can learn. And the protocols, so I didn't just choose protocols for the heck of it either. I looked at research, and there's research studies. A lot of research, you guys, right now is done on rodents, so mice and rats. Some are done on healthy humans. Very, very few are done with diagnoses. And there's a reason. You have to prove a concept before you just go, do it on a vulnerable population. And some populations that can't consent for themselves, you can't really do research on. They won't allow you, research boards won't allow you, like autism, because they can't consent for themselves. So you have, when you're working with vulnerable population, in fact, I just learned that my university is no longer letting us do the research on populations like PTSD. I was like, well, I'm glad I got to. I mean, they all consented and it was great. They had phenomenal results. So that's why it's limited. So what I've done is, like I said, I know brain chemistry from mental health diagnoses, and then I research essential oil chemistry that's been done on mice, rats, healthy humans, and little tiny bit on diagnoses. And I'm just putting the two together. That's where we're at in the field. It's a pioneering level. And so my study, what we did is I looked at research. And when you see studies that are done for 2 to 3 days, some are done for 2 weeks, some are done for 30 days, some are done for 5 days. And what I noticed in the trend is that 2 weeks, studies that were done for 2 weeks had better results. And even further, 30 days. So that said to me something. That said, it does take some time for it to get into your body and for the chemistry to start to interact in your brain and make a shift. And they even tell you this when you take antidepressants. They say you won't notice the effects for a couple weeks. And it does. It takes time for your body to adjust to the chemistry. So when I did my research study, I'd love to have done 30 days, but I also thought I don't want to lose people with such a long study. So I did 2 weeks. So in protocols, I would suggest at least sticking to something for 2 weeks. Okay, so there's that. The second thing is I had to choose an essential oil that would also resonate with people, because I'm going to give you 2 other essential oils that were pretty heavy hitters for PTSD. Turmeric essential oil and cardamom. Those were heavy hitters. But when I have, military and firefighters having to inhale something that might be a little stinky. In fact, I think turmeric has the most best benefits, but is the stinkiest thing I've ever smelled. I like to take it internally, and we weren't doing internal. So I decided, okay, we need to do, and then bergamot, they were all heavy hitters. Bergamot was just, and they loved the smell of it, and that kept people doing it for the 2 weeks. So there's one. So when you're looking at protocols, the 2 weeks is a really good idea. Now, here's what I saw in research. The very first, so all of my participants were writing down every single day what they noticed from the results of the day. And in the beginning, it was kind of slight. Like I noticed I kind of felt calmer, or I noticed that I didn't react as bad as I normally would, and that was good the first few days. The what am I trying to say? The key point was, and I'm going to give you protocols. I see you guys asking, but I'm starting up to that point. The key point is at day 7 and 8 in their journals was significant. Everyone was saying, I'm noticing I'm staying calmer longer. I'm noticing the effects lasting longer. I'm noticing I'm responding much better. So I really saw the shift in my research at day 7 and 8. Okay. So that was pretty crucial. So the protocols that I had my participants do, and again, this is all from research, was to do bergamot 4 times a day. And this was in the morning between the hours of 6 and 8, put 2 drops in their hand, inhale it for 5 deep breaths or 30 seconds. Okay. Between just whenever they wake up, basically 6 and 8 in the morning, inhale, 5 deep breaths or, what did I just say? 5 deep breaths or 30 seconds. Yeah. I'm seeing numbers over here and they were messing with my brain. I'm seeing 4 and 6 and 8. Okay. Then you're going to do the next stage is going to be 4 hours later. So basically between the hours of 11 and 1 p.m. So again, 2 drops, inhale, 5 deep breaths or 30 seconds, and then go about your day. Then again at 4 to 6 p.m. Okay. So every 4 to 6 hours, we want everybody having the oils in their system every 4 to 6 hours. Then at night, this was key. I almost didn't do it because as a, student researcher, I have to pay for it all. And I was like, I had to pay for all the diffusers. And I almost was like, oh, I'm not going to do the diffusers. And one of my therapist friends, she said, are you crazy? I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. I have to. So I invested in buying all of the diffusers. So I had them put the diffuser by their bed at night and had them put, 6 to 8 drops and had the diffuser on for 6 to 8 hours. And it was incredible. Having that scent going in their brain for 6 to 8 hours, people were sharing that they woke up feeling more refreshed. They were able to meditate deeper at night when they went to bed. I had quite a few people who struggle with sleep because that is one of the symptoms of PTSD. They struggle, they wake up with either nightmares or they wake up but just because their brain keeps cycling with, they've got stress hormone cycling, right? They slept through the night. They haven't done that in years. Awesome. So I was actually surprised. I didn't know bergamot. I know it has a citrus component, which can be more awakening, but it also has a lavender component and it actually improves sleep. So that was good. So that was our protocols and for 2 weeks. And, I'll just read to you. Here's my book. Just a couple of the responses of what participants said, and then I'll go to questions. Okay. Let's talk about. Okay, so here's somebody. Well, let me go into here. Okay, let's go to mood. So these are some of the responses. I broke it down into the categories of PTSD, which are mood, intrusive thoughts. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking for a second. Intrusion, avoidance behavior, of course. Avoidance behavior is your key. And arousal. Arousal is focus and attention, rage, that kind of stuff. Okay. Oh, wait, let me go back to mood, not intrusion. Okay, so here's a participant. They said, well, let me read this one first and then I'll go to that one. This is on concentration. And this is from the arousal category of PTSD. Today I did my meditation without the aromatherapy and I noticed I wasn't able to go to a calm state, another place, or clear my mind as easy as with the aromatherapy when doing the meditation. The aromatherapy helps my mind from being so distracted during the meditation. And here's somebody else on mood. They said, I had more positive thoughts than negative for up to 30 minutes after inhaling the bergamot essential oil. Aromatherapy put thoughts into another place, made it easier to cope, felt like I was outdoors and would get rid of negative thoughts. It was hard to think negative thoughts when inhaling it.
Wow.
I can share one more and then I'll let go to questions. So it reduced my ruminations. So ruminations are negative, depressed thoughts. I was able to focus and validate how I felt. I cried, but I felt safe. I believe the oil facilitated that safe space to process. I felt comfort during my bouts of shame and sadness. It doesn't make it disappear, but it definitely brings your focus forward and breaks you from your cycle of negative thoughts. Isn't that amazing feedback?
Wow.
So
That's
good.
incredible feedback. I mean, who doesn't want something to break that cycle of negative thoughts, that rumination? I think that's real.
Yeah.
So many of us. Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
And I'd like that she did mention, like, I still had to deal with, like, how Robin was talking too. Thoughts are the base for the chemistry that starts in our body. And thoughts come conscious and subconscious. But those are still there, but it gave her a space to do so. And I noticed when, as a therapist, when I use my aromatherapy, it doesn't take away the pain from a kid that's been abused or suicidal. What it does is it allows them a space where they're like, I feel like I can process with mental clarity more so than with so much cloud.
Yeah, I find it so
Mm-hmm.
fascinating as you've been talking about bergamot is, like when someone is, anytime they're talking about shame, which is the lowest
Mhm.
Yeah.
Emotion, I always go to bergamot. Like it's
Yeah.
one of the ones because it's the oil of self-acceptance. It's like the antidote to that. So I find it so fascinating that that is the one that like you really found, especially for PTSD. It was like the heavy hitter, and that's amazing.
Well,
Yes.
and I'll tell you another reason why bergamot from shame. I've also studied a lot of it under Dr. David Hawkins. But reason why is because when someone is at the lowest, right? A citrus is great, but you also have to meet people where they're at, right? So if you were just to go, hey, you're feeling the worst emotion, just go be happy, right? It's this progression step to get their chemistry there. And the combination of linalool as well as limonene kind of gets them up that ladder to a calmer but a happier state. It's interesting.
Yeah, and like you were saying, they've been so entrenched in those thought patterns, that kind of disrupting that a little bit allows them to have more clarity to just even start that healing process and to start it in a
Yeah.
different way. One question that has been in the chat that I think you could
Oh,
answer better than I could
can
is,
if I can share my screen, I see people are asking for the protocols. I do have them. So
yes,
let me know when is a good time to share my screen.
you can, but
Go
can
ahead.
you also answer about smell receptors and talk about a little bit of
Yeah.
that cascading effect that happens physiologically when we are inhaling?
Yeah, for sure. So even if you don't have a sense of smell, the aromatic molecules are going to travel through your neural olfactory pathways and penetrate into your brain. It's going to go in through, your pathway is going to be the limbic system, right? And then it'll go to other areas, frontal lobe. It's going to go to the amygdala and even, the brave nucleus. It's going to go to various parts of your brain that it needs, which is awesome. And so inside of there, so like Natalie had mentioned, essential oils are adaptogenic. What they've noticed when we do control groups with research, that mice that are subject to stress and then given limonene, right, essential oil, their stress lowers. Mice that are not subject to stress but are given limonene, there's not really much of a change. They weren't subject to stress. So it's not like it lowered anything else. They're very adaptogenic. I hope does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
So
and this is a great time to share if you want to share your screen and
Oh,
share those protocols.
I do have the protocols. I'll kind of share with you in my app. It's the Holistic Brain app. Oh, sorry, that's my Instagram page. Here. So I have something called wellness programs, and I did put the protocols in the stress and trauma. I also added a few other essential oils from my research that as a researcher, I would have loved to have added, but we can only do one, product or one, thing at a time. So I've put in copaiba as well, and then lavender as well. So these are the protocols are right in here. Day 1, day 2, and I walk you through 8 days. Okay.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I can share, let's see, I have it right here. You can screenshot that and I can put it in the chat box too.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
And
Thank
we
you
we
so
can
much.
add this to your research article and get that out to people.
Yeah, that's great.
Great. Thank you so much, Danielle. Like I could just sit at your knee and listen to you all
Oh.
day. Like can't get enough of it. And just so grateful for you and the work that you're doing and continuing to do. And this is just so needed. And there's not a lot of people willing to do the research. But we're finding that essential oils are becoming one of the most heavily researched things right now, especially in the mental health realm. So it's really
Mhm.
exciting, and especially you being part of that in such a hands-on sort of way is like really amazing. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me here. And I can just give you a little tidbit. I am looking at a new research project with Iliahi, Hawaiian sandalwood. So kind of fun and inadvertently with autism, let's just say. We're having a hard time getting, approved with just autism. So we're doing
Wow.
it in autism care
Oh.
centers is what we're looking at. So we'll keep you posted. Yeah.
Danielle, thank you for living your purpose. I love to hear about that. And you're right there where that Iliahi, that Hawaiian sandalwood is growing.
Yeah.
And of course, you're finding that. I hope each of you can glean what you needed from this piece. Thank you so much for sharing who you are and bringing this forward. It's a good thing, right? That we have gifted individuals and all that you brought forward and are living so that we can be informed and empowered in greater ways. Thank you so much. We want to make sure as we wrap today, thank you for going. There's so much goodness. How do we get it all in? We want to make sure that every time you have a breakthrough moment. So every day this week, we're going to be bringing forward these breakthrough moments so you can taste each day a portion of the breakthrough process and not just wait until the end. Okay. So based on the poll that we put in the Facebook group, if you haven't already, there's almost 1,000 people in that Facebook group and some good things going down with the challenge this week, and there will be great other insights added. So based on that poll, we chose the top 2 of emotions, and they were frustration and anxious. And so based on that poll, we have both of these options for you to look at right here. So just take a moment, see which one you resonate with most. Is it anxious? Stay up there at the top. If it's frustrated, come right down here and focus in on that frustration. And ask yourself these look deeper questions, right?
Right. So maybe think of like, you know, I'm sure there is someone or something that you have felt anxious about, or if you resonate more with the frustration around a situation or people, like we want you to grab hold of it at one of those. So choose anxious or frustrated,
Mhm.
just to go along so we can give you a taste of some of these part of our breakthrough process.
And you'll see
Oops.
how powerful this can be. And what the oil we're going to highlight today is you see neroli right there on frustration and right there on anxious. So we're going to drop into just neroli and see what neroli has to offer you. So this is the oil description. So on that last page, you saw, oh, there's other questions that I can start asking myself, right? But this is the neroli description of what neroli has to offer to you emotionally, right? So just take a moment and read over this and see what stands out to you. Maybe make some notes or take in what Neroli has to give.
Do you want to read that, Natalie, just for people who maybe can't read that?
Absolutely. Neroli is a unifying and stabilizing oil. It's the oil of shared purpose and partnership. It is particularly helpful for calming troubled hearts in relationship conflict. Its influence promotes harmony in the changing dynamics of long-term relationships. Ongoing partnerships require acceptance and growth. Over time, perceived weaknesses in others come into full view, and as a result, individuals can grow bitter, frustrated, unsympathetic, and create emotional distance from people they once loved and cherished. If left unchecked, these feelings can grow into dysfunctional and destructive thoughts and behaviors. Perceived stagnation in a relationship can cause despair and apathy and feed a desire to blame, punish, or escape. Alternatively, Neroli invites individuals to develop the character traits of fidelity, empathy, patience, forgiveness, and resilience to ease these relationship challenges. It assists with the positive evolution of sexual intimacy between individuals who've been together long enough to experience significant contrast in their sexual relationship. Remember, just pay attention to what resonates for you. Find the gems. It symbolizes the fleeting beauty of spring blossoms and honors the long-lasting creation cycle in the life of the tree. Neroli aids in realizing deeper states of connection in intimate moments. It also encourages individuals to address the emotional barriers that impede healthy sexual expression and connection. Neroli gently reminds that sexual unity is a key aspect of relationship happiness and to take the time to nurture this process. It teaches that unity blossoms from adaptation, cooperation, tolerance, perseverance, and kindness. It encourages active acceptance and supportive space for the chosen partner. Neroli invites individuals to attune their focus to the beautiful tapestry that is created as two lives intertwine to share purpose and find meaning.
That's such a beautiful oil.
With so much there. And maybe that connection is with a spouse or a partner, but maybe that connection is you connecting with God or your higher power in that partnership. So be watching for what you're drawn to. There's so many other oils that we could highlight, but this is just one more geranium on love and trust. And so maybe there's something here for you with geranium. It restores confidence in the innate goodness of others and in the world. It facilitates trust, especially when individuals have lost trust in others due to difficult life circumstances. It also assists in reestablishing a strong bond to one's mother and father. When there has been a loss of trust in relationships, geranium encourages emotional honesty, love, and forgiveness. It fosters receptivity to human love and connection. It aids in the healing the broken heart and encourages emotional honesty by facilitating the emergence of grief or pain that has been suppressed. Geranium softens anger and assists in healing emotional wounds. It assists in reopening the heart so that love may flow freely. Indeed, geranium could be called the emotional healer. It's a gentle oil, perfect for babies and children. It nurtures the inner child and supports in reparenting this aspect of the self. Individuals who have a difficult time accessing their emotions can be supported by geranium. So this may help you throughout this week as it leads away from the logical mind and into the warmth and nurture of the heart. At its root, geranium heals the heart, instills unconditional love, and fosters trust.
Right, so just whether it was geranium or whether it was neroli, just capture, were there some phrases, were there some words that really stood out to you? And that's all we're asking you to do with this part today, is just to identify with frustration or anxiousness, and then to sort of choose, and maybe it's both oils, but choose which parts really sort of stood out to you with that. And we're going to build on this each day. Okay, so I have questions in the comments. They're like, we're trying to keep these at 1 hour, although it's very difficult to do when you just have so much amazing content to give. Today was like a lot of information. But we'll try to keep these between an hour to an hour and a half each day. And also know that for this first day, we're casting that vision. We're, sort of set a lot of that foundation. Tomorrow, I'll talk to you about what we're going to do there in just a moment. But for today, to finish out today, you have homework, and the homework is so easy. It's just filling out. You're going to be emailed a Google form with the replay, with the recording today. You'll be emailed this Google form and you simply fill it out. It's a way of helping you integrate the information we went over today. And when you complete today's homework, you're going to get the published article, and we'll also send you that link to that 7-day protocol that Dr. Danielle Daniel was talking about. So once you complete your homework, so if you're watching this recording, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get any of that. If you do the homework, you will still be able to get access to all of that. And then tomorrow you are going to want to be here. You're going to want to eat a good breakfast to have all your brain cells firing, because we are going so much deeper. Dr. Nicole Stevens, who is the Vice President of Science and Research at doTERRA, is speaking to us, and she is going to talk to us about plant epigenetics. I mean, I've heard of human epigenetics. I guess I didn't understand fully about plant epigenetics, but this goes back to why it's important to source your oils properly. So she's going to talk to us about that. She's going to talk to us more about the emotional science and the latest research. And I know that she has something very cool to share with us, an activity that is going to be part of the homework tomorrow. So please make sure, if you can, to join us live. And then we're going to end with our closing giveaway.
The energy that comes when we are together live, it changes us, right? It lifts all of us. We are edified together. I'm so grateful for that and for you bringing it today. And as our closing giveaway, again, we're going to give away more of the book and the app. So I want to see right now what your biggest takeaway, biggest personal takeaway has been from today. What did you learn? What was the biggest thing? And we'll have our gal choose 5 of the responses right there and reach out to you on that Facebook page. Thank you so much for bringing your very best today. Yep, there we have the prize names right there. So if your name is there, just email challenge@essentialemotions.com and let us know if you have an iPhone or an Android and your address, and we'll get that book out to you and the app code so you can plug into that. We're so grateful. Oh my goodness, it's been amazing. We will see you in the morning at 10 a.m. We're going to keep going next level. And by the end of this week, and I hope you can see the power of this homework. This homework is the stuff that changes you, right? That's where we're going, is emotional freedom and emotional breakthrough like you've never experienced before.
Thank you guys all so much. We have just scratched the surface on what is in store for you this week. So we hope that you received incredible value, and know that we are going to continue to be bringing that to you. So please watch for your emails. And if you're watching this recording, please try and join us live. As you can see, it's just has such a great energy. So thank you all so much. And we will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
Perfect.